After we announced my pregnancy, my sister-in-law's attempt to humiliate me at my husband's party completely backfired, ultimately leading to her arrest and our divorce. For the past 7 years, I, a 29-year-old woman, have been married to Harry. Our marriage has been strong and fulfilling, except for one ongoing issue: his sister, Kayla, who brings constant negativity into our lives. I genuinely enjoy every aspect of my marriage now. To be fair, when I first met Kayla, I liked her a lot. However, over time, my opinion changed drastically. She proved to be toxic, manipulative, and deeply negative. Knowing her nature, I spent years making an effort to stay on her good side. When my husband was 17, he dated Kayla's best friend, but they eventually broke up because he felt pressured into the relationship due to Kayla's influence. Later, when he was 23 and single again, Kayla insisted that he should date another one of her friends. He refused. She then went to their parents in tears, complaining that she wanted him to marry someone she felt comfortable with. His parents largely ignored her concerns. During this period, Harry and I were getting to know each other and falling in love, and his parents were very supportive. Kayla, however, treated me coldly from the start. Whenever I was around, she would bring up Harry's exes for no clear reason, talking about how well they were doing and suggesting he reconnect with them. This went on for quite a while. Harry also found it odd and repeatedly asked her to stop mentioning his past relationships. I was not the only one who noticed this behavior. Kayla would then become angry, mock me, accuse me of being jealous, and say Harry should not be with someone like me. She would even deliberately invite one of Harry's exes to family dinners, claiming she had run into them by accident and felt obligated to invite them. Although she does not follow me online, she constantly checks my public Instagram account. I noticed she was often the first person to view my stories. If a man commented on one of my photos, she would complain to Harry, accusing me of posting inappropriate images. Harry and I usually laughed off these accusations. When Harry and I decided to move in together, Kayla tried to convince him to leave me. She told him I had many flaws as a woman and claimed she could find him someone much better. Since I had always been kind to her, this comment hurt deeply. Unfortunately, her behavior worsened after our engagement. When we announced our engagement, everyone congratulated us enthusiastically. I noticed Kayla was unusually quiet. Suddenly, she stood up and left the gathering. Later, she called Harry crying and shouting, saying she was upset that she had not been told first, insisting she deserved to know before anyone else because she was closest to him. After that, she sent me a message that felt almost threatening, telling me how I should treat her brother since she had always been the only woman in his life. The message unsettled me, and I left it on read, which likely angered her further. From then on, Kayla increasingly ignored me whenever we crossed paths. Despite this, she involved herself heavily in the wedding preparations, including dress shopping and my bridal shower. Both my future mother-in-law and my fiancé called her out multiple times for her behavior. Her criticism intensified as she openly expressed dissatisfaction with my choices. One day, Kayla overheard me discussing wedding centerpieces with my future mother-in-law. She immediately mocked my decision, saying it lacked class, and that this was exactly why she wanted her brother to marry someone better. That moment was my breaking point. I firmly told her she was no longer invited to our wedding and that I could not tolerate her constant ridicule and criticism anymore. She looked shocked, as if she never expected me to stand up to her. Kayla became furious, even when my mother-in-law supported me. She later called Harry, complaining that I had embarrassed her and insisting he should control me as his future wife. Harry made it clear that he supported my decision and said she would not be invited unless she changed her behavior. Eventually, she sent me a reluctant apology by text. I read it and again left it on read. I was exhausted from wedding preparations and wanted no involvement in her drama. In the end, she did attend our wedding because I did not want her criticizing us afterward. All the guests followed the pink and pastel theme we had chosen. Kayla, however, arrived dressed as if she were attending a funeral, wearing a black floor-length outfit. She arrived in a black gown with a veil, and to put it mildly, we were shocked. Kayla went around speaking to guests, expressing her sadness about losing her brother to another woman. At the reception, my husband addressed her outfit and the discomfort it caused. She responded by saying she had the right to wear whatever she wanted and accused me of being controlling. She tried to present herself as the victim, but when her constant attention-seeking continued, my mother-in-law and father-in-law eventually asked her to leave. The situation was humiliating. From that day forward, I kept my distance from her. When I gave birth to our son, Nate, I made it clear that Kayla was not allowed near our child. She objected, but my husband's parents supported my decision and understood my reasons for keeping her away from my newborn. 2 years earlier, Kayla had suffered a miscarriage with her then boyfriend Jamie, which deeply affected her. It was a difficult time for everyone. Given that loss and our own status as new parents, Harry and I felt sympathy for her. We decided to be more forgiving after her miscarriage and allowed her to spend time with Nate. We welcomed her into our home despite her past behavior toward me. Surprisingly, she was very kind to our son, which made it seem as though she had changed. However, over time, she slowly returned to her old habits. She constantly talked about how hard her life was, how things never worked out for her, and how former friends or managers had ruined her opportunities. I came to realize that she never believed she was at fault. She always tried to gain sympathy by playing the victim and rarely accepted responsibility during conflicts. Later, Kayla decided to get married and invited everyone except us. Given that our relationship seemed to have improved, Harry was surprised to learn we were excluded. She explained that she did not want me there because I would supposedly cause trouble at her wedding. Since I had never done anything to justify that claim, I called her to ask why she thought that. Kayla admitted she had deliberately worn black to our wedding and was now afraid I would do the same at hers, which was why she wanted me absent. I told my husband directly how manipulative I felt she was being. He was upset, and after speaking with his parents, Harry informed Kayla that neither he nor his parents would attend her wedding, nor would they help pay for it. This caused Kayla to break down in tears, blaming me for creating the situation. Her fiancé told her she had no right to accuse me, especially since she had openly admitted her own mistake. Kayla then tried to justify her behavior by saying, I should have moved on since our wedding was long ago. Later, she reached out to apologize and ask for forgiveness because my father-in-law and mother-in-law were still refusing to contribute financially to her wedding. Although I hesitate to admit it, Kayla can be quite persuasive when she wants something. Wanting to put the past behind us, I accepted her apology. Her wedding to Jamie went smoothly, and we all attended and enjoyed ourselves. Less than 6 months later, Kayla showed up at our home complaining that her marriage was falling apart. Harry and I allowed her to stay with us for a few days. During that time, she spent hours venting about her husband. They were struggling to conceive, and she placed all the blame on Jamie. When I tried to talk to her, she insisted the situation was entirely his fault. She also became overly focused on our daily routines and would imagine problems that did not exist whenever she was not criticizing her husband. For example, I usually go to the gym before work. On days when I'm running late, I sometimes bring my work clothes with me so I can finish exercising, shower, and change afterward. Kayla observed this for some time and began questioning me about it, asking why I needed to shower or even go to the gym. I did not think much of it and explained that I liked maintaining my weight and did not want to arrive at work sweaty. She would simply nod in response. One afternoon during lunch, my mother-in-law mentioned a friend who was going through a divorce. The friend had left her husband and taken half his assets after discovering his infidelity. Kayla interrupted her and abruptly asked my husband whether we had signed a prenuptial agreement before marriage. We all paused and looked at her, stopping our meal. She stared at my husband as if I were not present. He replied plainly that since we both earned good incomes, we saw no reason for a prenup. Kayla scoffed and said he could be caught off guard at any time, adding that cheating was common these days. Her comments offended me, so I asked her to explain what she meant. Kayla then suggested that I was clearly seeing someone else because I often carried a change of clothes. She added that, as Harry's sister, it was her responsibility to warn her brother. Those comments were shocking to me. My father-in-law and mother-in-law arrived quickly to stop her from continuing to make such accusations and told her she should not interfere in other people's marriages. Without hesitation, Kayla repeated that she was only trying to protect her brother. She then made a joke about whether our son, Nate, was actually Harry's child, saying he did not really resemble him. I had never seen my husband so angry. His face turned red with rage as he looked directly at Kayla and told her she was not a mother yet because she did not deserve to be one. He said that any child of hers would be better off in heaven than raised by someone like her. Kayla stood there in stunned silence. My mother-in-law and father-in-law watched quietly as my husband continued, calling Kayla shameless and accusing her of trying to destroy everything because her own life had nothing going for it. He said she did nothing all day while her husband worked constantly and that she was clearly projecting her own problems. He told her to focus on fixing her marriage instead of attacking me or questioning prenups. Kayla broke down in tears and turned toward Jamie, who was sitting next to her, clearly expecting comfort. He did not say a word. I had never seen my husband lose control like this before. Kayla eventually stood up and rushed into the restroom. My husband was still extremely upset. I held his hand while my mother-in-law stepped in to calm him down, fully understanding how difficult Kayla could be. My husband apologized to me for what his sister had said about our son. After enduring Kayla's behavior for years, I felt some relief seeing him defend me so openly. He later apologized to Jamie, but completely ignored Kayla once he had calmed down. After that lunch, we had no further contact with Kayla. Her behavior was affecting my husband as much as it affected me. We decided to block her and cut off communication entirely. My in-laws spoke with us afterward and agreed that Kayla had gone too far. They could clearly see how their normally reserved son had finally snapped after being pushed repeatedly. We did not speak to her again for an entire year, and during that time, everything was peaceful. 2 months ago, I found out I was pregnant again. Since we were not actively trying, the news came as a surprise. Welcoming another child felt like a blessing for both my husband and me. We decided to share the news on Harry's birthday, believing it was the right moment and wanting to honor him. My in-laws hosted a large celebration in their backyard, inviting close friends and family. Kayla showed up after hearing about the event from others. When we saw her, my husband and I were taken aback. She walked up to hug Harry, telling him how much she had missed him and how sorry she was about their last argument. Taking my hand, my husband asked her to apologize to me for the accusations she had made about my character. Kayla nodded, looked at me, and apologized. She said she had been attending therapy for the past few months and had come to understand how inappropriate her behavior toward me had been. Although I did not agree with everything she said, I nodded politely, choosing to remain civil since this was my husband's celebration. My in-laws checked in with us and said that if we felt uncomfortable, they would ask her to leave, as they had not known she would attend. Harry, however, did not want to cause a scene, so we agreed to let it go. Throughout the party, Kayla laughed and socialized with everyone. Since she mentioned therapy, I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt, even though her cheerful attitude felt unusual for her. Harry gave a heartfelt speech, saying he felt like the luckiest man alive and expressing gratitude for another year spent with me. When it was time to cut the cake, his words made me blush, reminding me of how we felt when we first started dating. I appreciated how deeply connected we still were. Then Harry and I decided to share our news. Smiling, we announced that we were expecting a baby. The crowd went silent for a moment before erupting into cheers. My mother rushed over to hug me in tears. My father-in-law congratulated us proudly, crying as well. Everyone asked about baby names and expressed excitement for us. Kayla, however, stood out. She looked stunned, her expression changed, and she turned away, appearing irritated. I assumed she was processing the news, though I felt uneasy, worried she might disrupt another event. I was soon distracted as other guests came over to talk. I stood up to help my in-laws carry food, but my parents and relatives insisted I stay seated, reminding me I should not be exerting myself. While I waited for my husband to bring me a plate, Kayla approached me with a wide smile. She said she personally wanted to serve me food because she was so happy about my pregnancy. She handed me a plate and mentioned that she wanted to make up for how badly she had treated me in the past. I nodded politely. As she walked away, I looked down and realized she had put shrimp on my plate. I am severely allergic to shrimp, so I was surprised she would serve that to me. Shaking my head, I stood up to get food for myself. At that moment, Jamie came over to congratulate me on the pregnancy. After a short conversation, he asked why I was not eating. I explained that Kayla had served me shrimp, likely by mistake. Jamie said not to worry, took the plate from me, and said he would eat it instead while I got a fresh one. I nodded and stepped aside. Within 5 minutes, Jamie began to gag and vomit. Everyone stopped eating as they watched him struggle to stand. Harry and Kayla rushed over. Jamie pointed at his plate and then at his throat. It quickly became clear that something he had eaten had made him seriously ill. He collapsed moments later, and the guests gasped in shock. Kayla grabbed the plate, her eyes widening in horror, and turned to me, asking if that had been the dish she served. I nodded. Someone called an ambulance as chaos broke out, and Jamie was rushed to the hospital. Throughout all of this, Kayla cried uncontrollably and stared at me with anger. Later, at the hospital, when I realized that Jamie had originally been meant for me, I almost collapsed. The thought that what Jamie ate could have poisoned both my unborn baby and me was overwhelming. At that time, neither Harry, my in-laws, nor my parents knew this detail, because no one yet understood what was in the food that caused him to pass out so suddenly. The police were called to collect evidence. As I write this, Jamie is still recovering in the hospital, and Kayla stayed with him overnight. Relatives have been calling nonstop, asking what happened to Jamie and who might have poisoned him, while my husband and I continue answering those calls. What occurred deeply shook my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They are staying at our house because they are afraid to return to theirs. No one understands how things could change so abruptly when everything had been going so well. The idea of telling everyone that the plate was originally mine and that Kayla personally handed it to me makes me extremely afraid. If this turns into an official investigation, I know I will have to be honest with the police. More than anything, I am now deeply concerned about what my sister-in-law might be capable of doing to me. I feel terrible about everything that has happened. I do not want to be near her, and I cannot allow my children anywhere close to her, as she has clearly shown she has no limits, even when it comes to poisoning. I also feel guilty for giving Jamie my plate and possibly exposing him to harm. Update 1. Wow, thank you for the thousands of comments in just a few hours. I never imagined receiving so many responses. When I first wrote this, my hands were shaking, and I still have not been able to sleep. Despite what many people are saying, I do feel somewhat responsible for what happened to my brother-in-law. I should have thrown the dish away. I do not know why I let him take it from me. I keep crying when I think about his future, knowing something is seriously wrong. My husband has been staying very close to me, although he does not know what I suspect about his sister. He believes I am simply worried about the situation. I agree with those suggesting I should calmly speak to everyone, though I am unsure whether they will believe me. My in-laws have security cameras installed around their home, and since the birthday celebration took place in their backyard, I am confident the footage will confirm that Kayla handed me the plate. I will talk to everyone tonight and then update. Update 2. We talked, and I truly feel fortunate to have the kindest in-laws. Since they were already staying with us, I sat down with Harry, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law during dinner and explained that I had something important to share. Taking a deep breath, I described what happened at the birthday party, including how Kayla handed me a plate of prawns and how Jamie unknowingly ate it, leading to his illness. Their shock reflected my own. My in-laws exchanged worried looks, and Harry's expression shifted from confusion to anger. I continued by sharing my concerns about Kayla's intentions and her past attempts to harm me, especially considering the potential danger to me and our unborn child. My mother-in-law, being practical, immediately suggested reviewing the security camera footage. My father-in-law agreed, while Harry remained silent, processing the information. When we reviewed the footage through their camera app, the truth was undeniable. The video clearly showed Kayla handing me the plate and what followed, leading to Jamie's collapse. There was no room for doubt. As the reality sank in, emotions ran high. Now fully aware of his sister's actions, Harry struggled to contain his anger. My in-laws were horrified by how far their daughter had gone. We sat in stunned silence, trying to understand why she would act this way. Given the seriousness of the situation, my in-laws decided to forward the footage to the police. Jamie would need to file charges himself, so my husband and father-in-law planned to speak with him once he recovered. Every time I think about letting Jamie eat from that plate, I feel sick. I am extremely anxious about him and have not been able to eat or sleep properly. I will share any important updates. Update 3. All right, I am back with another update, though it has been about a month since the last one. As a pregnant woman, I've been dealing with a lot. To begin with, Kayla was detained after the evidence was reviewed. Once my in-laws gave the recording to the police, she admitted everything without disputing it and broke down crying. Jamie was just as shocked as the rest of us when my husband told him what had happened. Harry assured him that he would always be part of our family, regardless of his decision, but encouraged him to press charges due to the severity of the act. After Jamie recovered, he chose not only to pursue charges, but also to file for divorce. Kayla called my in-laws repeatedly, emotional and pleading for forgiveness. She revealed that she herself is pregnant and tried to manipulate them by saying they should help her for the sake of their granddaughter, begging them to bail her out. My father-in-law firmly told her that she needed to take responsibility and that they were done enabling her. Although my mother-in-law is deeply saddened by what is happening to her daughter, she understands that these actions cannot simply be forgiven. Police found proof that Kayla had tampered with the food intended to harm me, which instead injured her husband. She has been charged with several crimes, including endangering life and food tampering. Despite blaming me for everything, she begged Jamie not to press charges. Fortunately, his decision is firm. Her court hearing will begin soon, and I doubt she can escape the consequences this time. My son and I are doing well. For those asking, he does not yet know what his aunt has done. Harry and I have discussed this and plan to sit down with him and explain the truth in an appropriate way. It will be a difficult but necessary conversation. On my doctor's advice, I now have ultrasounds every 2 weeks. We want the baby to be a surprise, so we have chosen not to find out the gender. Given what happened, my parents have been very protective of me and urged me to seek therapy. Concerned about my mental well-being during pregnancy, I agree with them. While I appear normal, I have developed a deep fear related to what Kayla did to my food and now avoid eating anything I did not prepare myself. My husband is aware of this and continues to support me. Update 4. 8 months later, Kayla is now in prison. She was found guilty of all charges. I did not attend the court hearings, but my in-laws shared the details. Kayla admitted to years of jealousy toward me, confessing that she always wanted one of her friends to marry my husband and resented me as an outsider. When he began dating me, she deliberately tried to harass me. Her jealousy intensified when we announced our pregnancy at my husband's birthday party, as she had planned to reveal her own pregnancy that day. After suffering a previous miscarriage, she wanted that moment for herself and felt we had taken it away. Overcome by jealousy and pregnancy hormones, she admitted to mixing rat poison into my food. She claimed she only wanted me hospitalized and never intended to harm the baby or me, arguing for a lighter sentence. The judge rejected her plea. She was sentenced to prison and will be out of our lives for a long time. Jamie is now free as well, having finalized the divorce. We continue to include him in family gatherings whenever possible. He assured me it was never my fault, even as I apologized repeatedly for giving him my plate, something I had replayed endlessly in my mind. Knowing he is doing well now brings me relief. As for Harry and me, we have welcomed a baby daughter into our family. Her arrival has brought warmth and light into our lives, despite the shadows of the past. Our son Nate is happy being a big brother and is gentle and caring toward his little sister. Watching our children bond reminds us of what truly matters. Both my parents and in-laws have supported us throughout this new chapter of our lives. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more real-life family stories.